see it if you just follow Peggy and not me, but you're on here. But I'll let you start, Peggy. 'Cause
And if not, we will save the live, right? You guys know how to save
absolutely.
the
Yes.
live, and I will post it on my, I'll have it on
Oh, yeah.
my, that wherever I need to save it,
They can
and
see
we'll
us.
be able to see it at a different time,
Yeah, they said they
I
can all
guess.
see. Everyone's saying
Oh,
they can,
awesome.
so we're good.
Okay, good.
Thank
Good,
you.
good.
We're millennials trying to figure out the internet, so we appreciate your help.
Okay, so why are we like what are we going to talk about today? I posted an NGL, I mean a question like an NG a Q&A where I got a lot of questions. I did not send you everything, Sarah. I just sent you a couple I just sent you a couple of things that I thought were interesting or repetitive. And if you want, you guys can introduce yourself first, and then we'll go straight to the topic, straight to the questions.
Absolutely. So I'm Dr. Sarah Glass. I am the author of Kissing Girls on Shabbat, which talks about growing up in a Hasidic community of Ger and then coming out of the closet later on in life and becoming a psychologist and helping other people with trauma and with all sort of identity and gender issues. I work at Soul Wellness NYC. It's my practice. I'm a therapist in Midtown Manhattan. And I saw Peggy's work and I just thought like I really would have needed that when I was in the community. And so many of my clients need to have these topics destigmatized. And so that's how we're here is Aviva and I, who Aviva works at my practice, introduced ourselves to Peggy and we're like, we're all trying to do the same thing to help educate and destigmatize topics. And you're gracious enough to join us. So Aviva, I'll let you intro.
I'm Aviva. I'm a therapist at Soul Wellness. I'm also a PhD student. Um, and I work a lot with people who are exploring sexuality and uh, people in from communities, people out of from communities. So I'm excited to be here.
Okay. Aviva, I think your echo, like there's a little echo. If you can get closer to the mic, maybe, so I can hear you clear. Sarah, you hear that? There's a little, there's a
Maybe a
little echo.
teeny bit.
Is it still pretty bad or we're getting better?
Okay, I think so. I think so.
Huh.
Uh, okay, so I'm going to read the questions that I got, and whoever feels comfortable to answer. Okay, so the category is gender slash sexual orientation questions that I got here. Is um, how to know if I'm gay or not? Like, how can people tell? How do I know whether I'm gay, straight, bisexual, or anything else?
That's starting us off real easy, I see.
Yeah.
Um, Whoever asked that, that's a really brave question. I know I work with people in on this all the time, and I'm going to give you a multi-part response. One is I think is to open yourself up to discovering your own sexual orientation within your body. So that means giving yourself permission to say, you know what, I will ask this question. And then next, looking for cues in the world around you and seeing what lights your body on fire. Like when you watch TV or movies or read books or interact with people, like see them on the street, what gives you that little spark inside? Once you're in the exploration process, you're becoming aware. It's like a multi-stage process. It's not like there's no test we can take that says you are gay. You're unequivocally gay. You know, it would be great if we could, but it's about getting to know ourselves and giving ourselves permission to get to know ourselves. And then I do think it's really good to go to therapy with someone who's supportive and has no agenda. That's
Mm-hmm.
important. That your therapist doesn't feel like, oh, you have to be one thing or the other. And if you are, then you have to do certain things. Like there are therapists that are like, well, if you identify as gay, you have to come out. Otherwise, the rest of your life will be miserable. And there are therapists who are like, being gay is a sin. And even if you are that, you should fight it. That's someone's opinion. Those opinions are valid, but that should not be the place you go to therapy because your therapist has to be able to let you decide who you are, figure out who you are, and decide what you want to do about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think the same. Finding someone you trust, either a therapist or a friend to talk it out. I think talking to people, and that can be really hard in the community, but finding someone, even going online and finding someone, hearing other people's experiences, I think that's all valuable. Building trust with someone.
Yeah. Um, so, okay. What is the solution for someone who's unsure if they're gay? What are the ways to resolve it? So it looks like this person has like a problem, like something to resolve. That's how
Hmm.
I see this question as. I don't know how you took this question.
I mean, absolutely, that was my first thought. And like, what are your thoughts when you see that? Like Peggy, for you, because I know you see these questions all the time. So when you see someone phrase things in a certain way, I'm curious how, like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's something to resolve, but I understand that this person has an issue, like they feel bad, like they're probably in a relationship or in a marriage and they don't want to, they're dying to be straight or they're dying to be a certain way
Mhm.
and they want to resolve the problem, like the problem which is being gay or being not straight, right? This is what it looks like to me. Yeah, what is the solution for someone who's unsure? So I guess it is going to therapy and figuring out and see whether you are or you aren't or
I think resolve is such an interesting word because it is something that we explore and deal with in the context of your life.
mm,
We explore it, we deal with it, we figure out where the different ways that you want to explore it, maybe just in the therapy room talking about it, maybe outside of the therapy space with other people. Um, resolve sounds like it's something that needs to be fixed.
mm,
yeah. And I would say, like, I don't know if you can resolve what your internal sexual orientation is, but you can resolve the cognitive dissonance and the feeling of being torn all of the time that can come with that.
mm,
So going through your process of like figuring it out can help you actually feel like less torn up inside about it. Someone in the comments said, you don't think about being gay if you're not gay. And I just want to say, I don't think that's true. I think it's really normal to worry, like, what if I'm gay? You know, it's like one of the things adolescents ask themselves as they're growing up in the secular world where they have access to information. They're like, I don't know, am I straight? Am I gay? Let me figure it out. So it's a question if you're asking later in life, very normal, doesn't mean you're gay. And also, some people who have like OCD and intrusive thoughts do have this thought, like I'm gay. So, doesn't mean
Sarah
anything.
and Aviva, I think that is it black and white? Like you're either gay or you're not. Like you're either 100% gay or zero. I think this is one of the questions too.
Yeah.
That are you? How, how do you measure it? Are you 100%? Is it fluid? Like what would you? Is it a yes or a no or?
I really love that you're always saying sexuality is fluid in your responses. I've
Mm,
been following them for like a month now, and I'm like, yep, sexuality is fluid. And it's like such a continuum. I don't know if anyone's like 100% gay or straight. If you read my book and my story, like it's pretty clear. I identify currently like I'm gay. I think I'm gay, but I don't know. Maybe there'll
I
be
love that
moments
book.
like,
Sorry, I had to.
thank you.
It's an awesome book. Yeah.
We don't know what life
Um,
brings. Like you could love like I don't know, eating cheesecake every day for a year or 5 years, and then you're like, you know what? Actually, I really want to try chocolate ice cream. Just like we don't marry ourselves to anything else in our lives, like so completely. It's like you have to only like sweets or only like savory. We're complex people.
yeah, yeah. Um, how to make someone who is bisexual attracted to other gender, meaning, I guess the question is if you're bi, how do you make yourself straight or gay?
Or
Like
the
I'm not sure.
opposite.
I'm gonna be honest with you. When you sent me this question, this one might have made me the most sad, out of so many of the questions, because I know that feeling so well. And I have so many clients who come to me with that feeling, not just about queerness, but about can you make me not be the person I am? Whatever that is. Can you make me not have trauma?
Yeah.
Not have like, And it's so heartbreaking to feel that pressure altogether. And I think I just want to like use this moment to say there is something that is out there called conversion therapy, and it's extremely dangerous and has been proven to be extremely traumatic to people, has been banned and made illegal in many of the United States, because we have found that when we try to change people's sexual orientation, it increases suicidality, PTSD, and like so many risks. And so I wouldn't try to force something. I would work on how do we make you feel safe in your body and help you feel safe in your life.
I'm curious how conversion therapy would work. Like, what do they even say?
You can ask Chaim Levin. He's on Instagram too. He's been such an advocate against conversion therapy. He went through it and talks about it
Hmm.
openly.
Yeah, I think a lot
Um,
of people report it being a very, very, very painful experience.
Yeah.
um, okay, I will go to the next one. I never get aroused by my husband. I do love him though. Also, I'm never horny, like I never feel the urge to masturbate, but I do enjoy when my husband does it. Does it meaning gets her off or he masturbates? I'm not sure. Um, can it be that I'm gay or asexual?
Could be.
Uh, I mean, anything can be, but I mean that's not really proof that he is.
There are also so many kinds of variations of asexuality. Some people are don't like sex but like enjoy romance, and some people there are many different ways that I think a lot of the answers that we're coming up with is that it's worth exploring. It's hard to know
Hmm.
things quickly. Sarah, you have any?
Yeah, I guess. I
Yeah, I
guess.
remember like hearing someone describe their sexuality as aromantic, gray sexual, demi, and I was like, what? Because coming from the Hasidic community, I'm like, that is so many words. But it just gave me this understanding that there's like you could be someone who does want to be in a romantic loving relationship and not feel physically aroused by the person. There's so many things, or demisexuals, like this idea, these are just labels, people made them up, they're not like diagnoses. It's just a thing people said when they say like I need an emotional connection in order to have sex, so there's a word for that. And then some people, like, I'm sure, Peggy, you work with this all the time because this is
Yeah.
your expertise. So
Hmm.
I think when you're in a world where it's like, if I don't feel this, does that mean I'm asexual? What you want to do is expand your definitions a little bit and give yourself access to information about all the different kinds of sexuality to see if there can be another one that may resonate with you. And don't
Hmm.
jump to like asexual, even though that's completely fine and there's nothing wrong with being asexual. I just want you to go through a process of allowing yourself to explore a little more. I don't
Yeah.
know. What do you say, Peggy?
No, I agree. I agree. I
Yeah.
totally agree. And there's so much more to explore. There's a lot to talk about and to explore on your own and probably with your spouse, with your partner. Um, okay. Male, 40 years old, married. I have this kink of seeing guys walking with a boner. I think because someone was exposed to me, someone exposes themselves to me when I was young. But because I like women, I like to see women with a boner. So trans is the only option, and it drives me crazy. I guess it's just the vent or justifying that they enjoy trans or trans people turns them on, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's
That's
okay.
I don't know when they say drives me crazy, does it mean makes me feel crazy or drives me crazy as in turns me on?
I think they meant they're confused, like it drives them crazy, like they don't know, they're confused. I think it's a confusion that they feel because like, is this normal? Am I normal? Like, why do I like trans people or trans porn or
Yeah, I mean
like
the truth
what?
is right, like sometimes things we go through in life do inform our sexual style and what we're attracted to. And that is just the truth. That's where some kinks and fetishes come from. That said, I think we don't have to shame the kink or the fetish or the attraction type. You know, like if that's what you like and that turns you on, okay.
Yeah, I'm very much against that. Like, no stigma, no shame. It's okay. It's okay to have all these fetishes and kinks and have fun exploring them. The problem is that sometimes you feel alone because you're like, you feel crazy. You feel like something is abnormal because of
Yeah.
society and because of other people. What do they think? And everyone's poking fun of certain communities or certain things, and it makes them feel isolated. Like something is weird or off with me that I like something that's so uncommon. So I think that's where it comes from. Okay, let me go to the next one because we have a lot. Where am I?
I hope it helps to have three like mental health people just sitting here being like, okay, you know, that might be all they need to hear.
Yeah. Okay, so I like anal, and I mean I like to be pegged.
Yeah.
Um, but girls think it's weird, and they think it's gay or whatever that is. Like it's an adjective. It's gay, and is it?
So just to define, pegged would be anal penetration preferred by
Yeah.
somebody with a male body. So like,
Not what do you mean somebody with a male body? Like anything it doesn't have to be with a male body. Oh, you mean the
like
male likes to
when we
be
say
penetrated?
pegged, yeah, are we talking when we say pegged, like colloquially, are we saying like guys who like to be penetrated anally? Or are
Yeah.
we saying,
Yeah.
is that how it's not?
Well, guys like to be penetrated anally with anything like anal beads or a dildo, a vibrator, or anything, or a finger even. Uh, does that make them gay? The fact that they like it and they enjoy it, it turns them on. I
Nope.
don't think so, but
Right? Like, yeah, and also liking the color pink doesn't make you
mhm,
gay. Liking to um I don't know, get your nails painted doesn't make you gay if you're a guy. Liking certain music doesn't make you gay. The only thing that makes you gay is if you are attracted to someone of your same gender and you want to identify as gay,
mhm,
as a label like you choose to identify with. And you're like, you know what? I'm gay. This word feels good for me. And this is the kind, that's what I think. Like,
mhm.
I don't think liking a certain kind of penetration makes you gay at all.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. Um, okay. If I don't feel any particular attraction to a gender or attraction to anyone, period, but do have attraction to a girl for a really long time, does that make me lesbian? I don't understand this. Do you understand this question? Like if I'm not attracted to anyone, but I am attracted to a girl, that means that girl is someone.
Yeah. I mean, it's like an unclear question, but in my heart, I understand this question so much,
Yeah.
because that's a question I asked myself my entire life for so many
Mhm,
years. I'm like, I don't know, like, what is attraction anyway? Like, am I attracted to anyone? But there's this one girl, like, so it's such a familiar question.
And what do you think?
Maybe.
Yeah, like we don't, I guess it's not enough information to determine sexual orientation, but it's something you may want to think about and allow yourself to explore.
Hmm. Comes down to a
What?
lot of exploration. This is an unconventional question. I'm a female who's energetically 100% masculine, energetically 100% masculine. I'm straight though, in parentheses. Sexually, I'm a giver. I'm having a hard time coming to terms with it. Marriage is hard in this dynamic. I hate receiving. I think I answered this on Instagram. Did I?
Yeah.
Something similar, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate receiving. I only like to give. My masculine energy affects me with everything in life. Do you remember reading my response to that?
You're like, what the hell did I say? I know it's like me half the time. I'm like, I feel like I was smart when I answered it, but I don't know what I said.
I think it's important to separate like gender from sexuality, because a person can like lean heavier into one kind of gender or another, or a mixed gender presentation. Um, but I think, yeah, unfortunately, a lot of the answers to these questions are going to be find someone you can talk about it with.
I also am curious where this came from. Did you either of you ever like remember this? Like, I don't know, I learned this like that the man is like the sun and the woman is like the moon, and his light reflects onto the woman. So the man is like the giver of energy, and the woman should be the receiver of energy. It's like a Jewish philosophical teaching.
Mhm.
I don't know if this, so I wonder if this question is coming from like a sort of, just because Peggy, if you're like, you've done such a great job making people who've had this kind of education feel so safe and comfortable with you. And so I'm thinking the question might come from an educational system that says like givers should be men. And so if the person feels like a giver, they feel male.
So first of all, about gender, when I say gender, especially for my audience, I mean male and female. I understand that there's way more, and in the secular world, there's like all kinds of genders, and sex is just M or F when it comes to the sex organs. So when I say gender, I mean sex. I mean, to me and to my audience, it's the same thing. So I don't want to go outside of that because it can be confusing. So if we say gender, let's try to stick to male and female here for the purpose of this talk. Is that okay?
Yes, so
Okay.
absolutely, that's totally fine. I think that with this question, what I think the questioner might want to do is look at the premise of what they're saying, right? Because
Right.
they're connecting
So,
masculinity to a certain set of behaviors, and I don't know if that premise is accurate.
right. I just wanted to bring that out with gender. Now, to the question, masculine and feminine energy usually means that, like masculine energy is like providing, like the nature of the male. Um, in my beliefs, what I think is different than the nature of the females. But we're not going to debate here. We're not going to sit here and debate because this is not what this life is about. But I believe the masculine is more like in essence they like to provide, and the female is usually the receiver, even anatomically, like with their body. That's how they're built, right?
So, yeah.
So I think this question is like she feels masculine, like very giving, but and hates receiving. So she's confused with that. I guess their energies are clashing, sort of, is what I understand.
Yeah, I guess we have such different takes on gender theory that, and it's okay. We don't have to debate. We can just present people with different takes because that's like you're hearing us each react differently, which we
Mhm.
should, you know? Like we didn't we're not here to make everyone think like us. We're here to provide information and for you to look at us and say that resonates with me and that doesn't. I don't want anyone to ever hear anything I say and be like, well, I have to believe her because she said it, you
Right.
know? So, like, I
Mhm.
think that's fine. Like, we just had a different take on the question.
Okay. So let me move on to the next one. Poor Dr. Sarah G. grew up from, had a female with female relationship pre-marriage and never the same in marriage. Does that mean I'm gay? Maybe I just got used to female and female. Like she was in a relationship with another girl and it doesn't feel the same. Like does that mean that's for you?
That's a really good question. And again, like, I know this question so well. You're wondering, maybe on some level, did I ruin myself for marriage? Like, did I do this thing before I got married and I like messed my body up and taught myself and trained myself to respond to something that I don't want to, I'm not supposed to? And the answer to this is it's complicated and you're allowed to take your time to figure it out. I think that it might take years for you to really think like, well, are these thoughts going away? Or also notice when they come up. If you're thinking about the girl you connected with before marriage only when you're in a fight with your husband, for example, then that tells you something. If you're thinking about it on a good day, that tells you something else. So, like, kind of get to know your body and see where it comes up for you the most. Um, I don't think that because it was the first exposure, that would have ruined you for anything else. If your body felt good with a woman, it can also feel good with a man. So you didn't do anything to like mess up your sexuality if that's what you're worried about. And I think looking back earlier in this live, we talked about some ways to explore. So feel free to watch that.
I also feel like this question can maybe the woman is just better in bed and the guy doesn't know what he's doing. Like super inexperienced, has no idea what he's doing, is like really inexperienced. It could also be that. Could also be that he's not good in bed. And she's had experience that's better than him. So
I think that's a really good, yeah, we can't judge all men by one man. We can't judge all women
yeah.
by one woman. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Um, I know where a man's G spot is. I want to go there with my man, but he's very against saying it's gay. Yeah, we spoke about it. What do you say? Now the guy is the one that's like feels uncomfortable. She wants to play, I guess, anally, and he is uncomfortable because he feels like, no, this is somewhere he feels like he's gay or something. And for whatever reason he doesn't want to. Whatever reason I meant like either a religious reason or he feels like it's a stigma with you know it's not something he's comfortable with.
I think it's important like to talk about consent. If you're in a relationship with someone and they don't want to do something sexual that you want to do, I think we always have to respect a no on all
Yeah,
ends. Yeah.
100%, 100%. However, I'm always for talking. Like I hear you say no, but does that mean like for the rest of my life I'll never be able to do that? Not necessarily. Like have a conversation and say like go deeper into it, dig deeper. Like this is what I really, really want. How do you feel about it? And why is it like just a no? I want to understand you. I want to understand why. I want to understand is this like that's it? That's it for the rest of our life? It's always good to have a conversation. Absolutely there must be consent.
Mhm.
But have a conversation after. It's like I'd love to discuss it. I'd love to go deeper.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's a lot of what you do, right? So people should
yeah, yeah,
ask
yeah,
see consults with
yeah,
you. It's a great forum. Like you're a safe place to have those conversations.
yeah. Um, if I really enjoy being with my husband, but in my head I'm fantasizing about a F crush, I guess crushing a woman of
Yeah.
mine, is that a problem? Should I talk to Hobbs about acting on it? I mean, I'm always for talking to your spouse about certain things. However, you have to understand how open-minded he is. Like, you're not going to go to someone that's completely 100% against it, and you have to I think go for therapy or talk to someone how to deal with it first to understand the dynamic of your relationship. But if he's open and more open-minded and understands that, understands these things more, then totally talk to him about it. That's what I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Unless you feel it's unsafe, like for any reason that he'll judge you or like,
Mhm.
you know, see you negatively and and in that case, maybe build practice with lighter conversations in your marriage, like that are emotional and deep and like learn to build trust before you might broach something that you're not sure if they can handle. But I love
Right.
what you said. Yeah, like always talk to your spouse. That's the goal.
I always say, like, tell your spouse you had a dream about being with a girl and see, or anything that's like a little taboo, and see what their response is. Like, if it's like horrifying, like, oh my gosh, really? You thought that? Oh, I would, do this and this. Or maybe it'll be exciting. Maybe it'll be like, something to think about, something we should explore. So you
I
never know. A dream is always safe. It's not
yeah,
your fault. But yeah.
I love that because that's a way to assess safety, emotional safety
Mhm.
too. Because if they're like completely judgmental, you can be like, okay, forget it. Like I'm not. Yeah, that's great.
Right, right. Okay. After years of sadly watching straight porn, I slowly ventured into trans porn, and now I can only watch trans porn. Does that make me gay? We discussed this.
Yeah,
We spoke
refer
about this.
tab. Nope,
Yeah,
does not make you gay. Just makes you a person that likes trans porn, and that is okay.
yeah. Do you think all people are bisexual or a little gay at least? We also discussed the fluidity of hey, hi Aviva. we
Well,
we discussed the
Sorry,
fluidity
the guy
of
came to clean my office and I had to leave it for a few
oh,
minutes.
no, well,
so yeah,
well,
we discussed this already. If everybody is bisexual, or I do believe that people are not set in stone. Like sexuality isn't set in stone, as we discussed earlier. Okay, are you born gay slash trans, or is it something that slowly develops? Nurture versus nature.
that's a really like tough one. I think there's so much research that wanted to point at first, like in the early eras of accepting queer gay people for the first time, there was research that tried to prove that people are born gay.
Yeah.
And the like thing to do like in progressive communities was to say, well, they were born this way, and there's a whole song, Born This Way. And then like
Hmm.
later on in research we started to look at like we actually don't fully know. I don't know if there's a and we love you and accept you no matter what, whether you were born this way or you chose to be this way. So
There are certain, I'm
what would you
sorry.
say? Go ahead.
So there are certain species, there are certain animals that are gay. And
Yeah.
I believe like humans are animals, right? Like we are above the food chain, but we are in essence animals, right? So there are species who are gay. Like there are animals who are actually gay. They mate with the same sex. So how are we so different? That
Yeah.
doesn't mean
Humans are more
everybody is,
complex beings, right? So
right? So
like we
that doesn't mean, mhm.
so I think it was Sarah had a really good answer is like the born this way ideology is kind of having, we're also seeing that like you could choose to be gay. That's fine. You could
Some,
prefer like go ahead.
no, somebody's writing, no, there's not a fucking animal who is gay. Do your research. You'll see.
Yeah.
There is. Stop comparing us to animals. No, we're better. We should be better than animals. Some
I think
animals are better than some humans.
yeah,
Some animals are
yeah.
better than some humans, you
We're
know?
gonna be better. Like in this moment, I always think like lately in this world, I'm like, let's just be kinder than necessary.
Hmm.
That's how we're better. Let's just be kind. Let's accept each other. Let's start and have nice, warm conversations with people with whom we disagree. Let's comment with kindness when we
Hmm.
comment online. Let's just,
I have to
that's how
practice
we're,
that first. I have to practice that first. I'm not always kind. I know. I know.
yeah, I have seen like the research on animals who are gay, and I think that's valid too. It's like, but both are true. Like, so some people might be like born gay, and some people might be like, actually, I prefer this.
Right. True, true. Yeah, that's what I think too. Okay. Is it true that nature is gay and morals are straight? What?
Hmm.
Nature is gay and morals are straight. Our animalistic vessel just acts instinctively. Our higher self-awareness knowledge says that being straight is beneficial for a strong society, community, and good lifestyle. What's your opinion? What's your opinion? Is this true?
I
Nature is
hear the,
gay.
I know. I mean, I hear the question again, like because I understand so well what it's like to be raised in a world that tells you that being straight is more moral and it's a higher standard and closer to God. So I hear you and I hear you in asking the question. And again, this is one that made me really sad. It made me sad that this is what you were taught to believe about queerness, about gay people, maybe about parts of yourself. And I really love that the questioner said, "What is your opinion?" Because it gave me like the opportunity to just be like, my opinion is that that is
Mhm.
not true. That's just my
Mhm.
opinion, informed by the research I've done as a doctor in psychology, as a human being who's been through similar struggles. My opinion is that is absolutely not true. I think morality has to do with who your heart is, like how you interact with people, your integrity, your authenticity, and has nothing to do with who you choose to sleep with or build your life with.
Right, right.
But I'd love
Um,
to hear you guys like your opinions too. I think it's such an important question.
so I believe that you guys did more research about this than I did. I did not do any research about it, so I don't really have a strong opinion about this, to be honest.
Okay.
Somebody's writing, there won't be any humans soon. You,
Yeah, this is like someone who might be struggling, and like these are concerns I have heard from people. It's just not, science.
no, but there are plenty of gay couples who have kids from Spurbank or
Yeah,
There's
I
plenty of
do.
straight
other
couples who
means.
have kids.
I have a child.
Yeah,
I had,
sure.
yeah, with a woman through IVF. So, you
Yeah,
know,
how? Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Aviva, I'm sorry, I think you wanted to say something?
No, I think it comes down to values, and as like someone I grew up in the frum community, I understand the where these like I understand the values, but they are not values that the scientific community keeps per se. They're not
Mhm.
values. It's also not my opinion that one thing is more moral than another. Um, we when we're talking about morality, we look at consent a lot. If we have
Mhm.
two women who are in love and they are both consenting to that, that's all I need. If we have two men who are in love and are both consenting to that, that's all I need.
Yeah. Okay. Let me. Oh, well, we're going into the next category
I
of
can't
kinks
wait.
and fetishes. What is
This
it?
is, I can't wait for this one. These were amazing questions. Like these questions rocked. Go, hit it. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So, a female Hasidish, 30 years old. I watched hardcore porn, BDSM, gangbangs, etc. when I was 17, 18. I, Baruch Hashem, get turned on from hubby and all, but can only
Orgasm.
orgasm with rape fantasies. Not even about myself. I hate it. Is there a way to reverse it? Is it like this because I watch this type of porn? What do you think?
Mm. If I wonder why she hates it. But if she really does hate it, so with trauma therapy, what I notice with people, it is if this if there's something that's a part of you, then it feels okay for you to be that way. And if there's something that is a part of you that's been induced by trauma, it feels bad for you to be that way. So if she's saying she hates it, then it could be that her mind and body were overstimulated in a traumatic sort of way from watching that porn at a young age. And it doesn't actually feel like it's her, like aligned with her heart and her soul. And so I would say like EMDR might help. It's a form of trauma therapy where she could have a chance to explore her mind and body. And look, I don't think being attracted to like BDSM rape fantasies is inherently a sign that there's something wrong. But because
Mhm.
she's saying it doesn't feel good for her, it could be a sign that she might need
Mhm.
help. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, true. Um, Female 22. I've been obsessed with CNC, which is consensually non-consent sex, which is like rape style sex, and only get off on it. I'm ashamed as it's embarrassing to be a diagnosed masochist, and I have no idea why I'm like this, as I have no trauma that she
Okay.
remembers, that she knows of.
That she knows of. Yeah, I think the other thing, I don't know, Aviva had to go, so she just put in the chat that she had to go. Um,
Oh, okay.
so I think we'll have to like handle all these questions. I think we can do.
Okay, okay.
I mean, I'm wondering with consent, non-consent sex, like a lot of the 50 Shades of Grey fantasies, it's about giving up control and not having to be the one in charge for a while, and that's what feels good.
Hmm.
And that's a valid form of like sexual turn on. What do you think?
Yeah, also like people enjoy the desire, like when somebody has a real desire that they can't hold it in, they're like just gonna grab you and just push you down the bed and just be animalistic with you without consent. It's like there's this term of what is it called? Where free 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 use. Have you heard of the term free use? Like free
Oh,
use, meaning it's like CNC, free use. You can fuck me whenever you want, however you want, at any time. And this is, they're giving the other one a consent that I'm free use whenever you want. It also comes from from a place of strong desire, of just take me whenever you want, because it turns them on to know that they're being used like a,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
an animal.
Hmm. Yeah, and then there are a couple of
Um,
like contracts where one is more dominant, the other one is submissive or feels likes to feel owned, and people do like draw out consent contracts around that, like what is the safety plan? Because this is actually a really common thing. And
mhm,
that's what I think is important. Like there are terms that like each of us even hasn't heard yet about this sort of dynamic because we're both like in this field where we're learning more about sexuality all of the time. Um, and our field is expanding, I think, all of the time. So I would say like it's not embarrassing. I'm not I'm not shaming you or judging you. And like we don't think it's embarrassing. If you feel embarrassed, maybe that's the first place of work for you is to try to seek support so you can embrace yourself a little more.
mhm. Um, okay, I can't understand normalizing crazy kinks and not associating with some sort of trauma. Just so much to say on this, the being tortured or diaper fetishes, baby play, breastfeeding, certain things should not be normalized. Sorry. Well, yeah, I just had to, I get it all the time. I understand where they're coming from and they see it as so crazy. I understand like when certain things are like too much, but if it doesn't hurt anyone and if your partner's okay with it or if you can explore it and your partner's fine, if you're in a relationship, I don't see an issue with it unless it's something that's illegal or you're hurting someone. But other than that, knock yourself out, in my opinion.
100%. And also, like, I mean, I'm curious why like, why do we care what other people do in the privacy of their own home? Really? Like, what are you worried about? It's not your business. If this is not something you enjoy, that's okay. If it's something other people enjoy, that's okay. And I go back sometimes to like my food example. Like, would we ever say, I think it's disgusting that people like to eat raw fish and sushi, and like no one should be allowed to eat sushi ever again because I find it disgusting. People would be like, well, sorry, you need to deal
Yeah,
with that. Like, if you don't want to go to
yeah.
parties with sushi, that's fine. But we're not shutting down every sushi restaurant? So try and like use that like framework for yourself to be like give yourself this idea that it's okay for other people to like something that you don't like. It doesn't hurt you.
I want to add that I do appreciate people's opinions. Like, bring it on. It's okay. Share your opinions, share how you feel, share what you think. Um, I want to hear everyone's perspective. Like, I think it's disgusting. I think it's awesome. Like, I want to hear a colorful, like, different opinions. That
Yeah.
makes it interesting, right?
Yeah, and also I'm sure a lot of people are thinking it. So I think being brave
Yeah.
enough to write it in is important because it also gives us an opinion to like get on here and talk about like who does it really serve when we try to control other people's bedroom activities and like to open up the
Mhm.
conversation and provide education around it.
Yep.
So yeah, thank
Um,
you for asking. That was our answer.
should we take a question on here? Like, what's your opinion on porn? I would like to hear what you think, Sarah. Opinion on porn. I don't know if this is like in general watching porn or with a partner, because I've already expressed my opinion on Instagram plenty of time when it comes to pornography. But what do you how do you feel about porn watching in as a general like and with a partner?
I have no issue with the watching of porn. I think it's something that people do that helps them relax. It can be something that helps you learn about your sexual preferences. There are a couple of areas where think it's good to be careful. One is when you're underage and that's the only form or that's the only form of sexuality that you're being exposed to. So if all you're exposed to is porn, then it's hard to have like a gauge that that's not always the most realistic version. It's like things in movies aren't the same thing as like being in a relationship in real life. Movies don't show what it's like to wake up next to someone and like they have bad breath and then you go brush your teeth and you make a really boring breakfast. You have a little fight about who forgot to take out the garbage and then you move on with your day. Like movies are not going to show you the real nuances of a relationship, and porn won't show you the real nuances of sexuality. So keep in mind that it's not necessarily realistic. And you can't transfer things from the screen to another person without having a lot of conversations. And I think it's also just like something to bear in mind is that some porn is made unethically, and the people involved in the making of the porn aren't always fully consenting to what does happen. So if you can try to find ethically sourced porn, that's always a little better, where you can be sure that like all the people involved have really consented.
Right. I deal a lot with this. Like, I get a lot. I get this question a lot, especially how do I introduce my spouse to porn because I want them to learn more, like more things. And that's like, no, don't do that. Don't
Mhm.
like introduce them to porn so you can introduce them to new ideas in the bedroom. Rather talk about it because especially with in the community, like if you're going to start and like should I show my and then the wife like it's usually the guy asking the husband like the husband asking the wife to watch porn and she's like really from and very like not used to it, not used to anything like that. That's going to be really traumatic. That's going to be very, very traumatic for her. Um, so I think it's a really bad idea.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, I see that too. Like people come into me and they're like, I did not want to watch this during my marriage. Sometimes by the time they get to me, they're divorced. And then I do the cleanup, like trauma work on
Yeah.
having been like forced to do things and see things. Yeah, I think that's a very valid point.
Okay. What else do we have here?
I see.
Trauma questions. What is
Uh,
it?
okay. I like men when. Okay. There was another question in the chat, but it was nothing. Okay, let's do our trauma pieces. Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. How can trauma manifest in the body and how can we fix it? I was told that trauma is like a bruise on your brain. Is that true?
I would love to do a 3-day training on this. How does trauma manifest in the body is so deep, but if I had to answer it really like just in brief, trauma can affect your nervous system and and put your body in an adrenal cortisol response, which means that your body can go into a fight, flight, freeze response at things more easily once you have been traumatized. And so, for example, in kids, when we see kids at school and they're like acting out, unable to focus, a cluster of symptoms that looks like ADHD, those are often real nervous system symptoms that come from trauma, because trauma does affect your body so severely. And it can also turn into things that look like mood disorders and so many other things later on in life. It might make you more jumpy, more like startled from like, noises, more hyper vigilant, like always looking around you to see who's there. And there are ways to heal. How can we fix it? I would say instead of fix, I'm offering the term working toward healing, because that's just a more gentle term. When we say fix, it gives our very traumatized bodies this idea that there's something wrong and we have to fix it. And what does that do? Increase our adrenal nervous system responses and make us even more stressed out than we already are. But if we say, let's embed ourselves to try to heal, our bodies can breathe. And so a lot of trauma therapy is about helping your body to feel safe and less activated and to learn how to live in it and um, move through some of these responses. So there's so much help available, so much therapy available. I know it's like a very long answer, but still not comprehensive.
That's
And
okay. You probably answered a bunch of other questions here that,
yeah,
maybe you killed a few birds with one stone.
maybe.
Um, how do I get to a place where you feel safe and comfortable with your partner to be vulnerable and have sex after trauma? I mean, after you go to therapy,
Yeah.
perhaps, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important also, like, that you're saying this out loud is a really good first step because you already know that you are going to need help to do it and you'll need your partner's help. I think the hard part is like when you try to suffer in silence and you're like, I'm going to do what I need to do for my marriage. I'll just have sex. And you don't tell your spouse that you need more gentleness or you need more time or like you're in a healing process. You pretend you're okay. So, not pretending you're okay is very important here. And you already did that. So, you're ahead.
Yeah, always, always. I always stress on how you have to be open with your partner. Like the be open, be open. Rather speak, rather say, and use I statements. Be open and express what your needs are, what your fears are, and all that.
I mean, I have a question for you. Can I just ask you? Because you did like, this is off script. You did the Dear Husband, Dear Wife series, which I thought
Yeah, yeah,
was
yeah.
because you had like people said so many things that they didn't feel comfortable saying to their spouses to your NGL link. And I was watching it and seeing people like say things. And I wondered if you had thoughts on why they felt uncomfortable saying those things directly to their spouse, because this is like the work that you do.
So, so here's the thing. Not all of them felt uncomfortable. They just wanted to share it with the world anonymously. So they can share things anonymously with my links. Some cannot say these things to their partners, especially if it's something negative. If it's a positive thing, it's way easier, obviously, to share these things. And they want to share it so, for public knowledge, to feel like they want to shout into the world how lucky they are. And right, this is where they share something positive. If something negative was shared, then that's way more complicated and difficult to do. That's how I saw it.
Like the yeah, like I mean, yeah, absolutely. I think everyone needs to be seen. Everyone wants to be seen and validated. Then like the
Hmm.
people do you think there's like a cultural aspect to it? Like the person who was like, husband, I know you read this, please like take a shower, but didn't say.
Yeah. So that sometimes, sometimes women tell their guys or wives tell their husbands certain things, and it goes from one ear and goes out from the other. Like they're like, okay, whatever. But then when they read it, they're like, okay, I guess I'm not the only one. Or they don't want to put pressure. They feel bad. Sometimes they're newly married and they have no idea how to communicate. Like, what do I
Yeah.
say? Like, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so uncomfortable. Do I tell him to take a shower? What if he's going to take it the wrong way? So if it comes from somewhere else and they see it, so they're not outed. It's like, wait, I heard this from my wife too. So maybe I should, right? Like it's someone else saying it. It's someone else saying it.
Yeah, you're providing like a real public service.
Yeah, I
It
try.
really is like really like I think what you're doing is real like you're giving people so much education and opportunity. It's really like I loved seeing it.
Thank you.
But sorry, I'm distracting you from the questions.
Um, how do I get to a place where you feel, okay, been in a relationship for 5 years and have a lot of childhood neglect trauma. Had sex in beginning, but not anymore because of low libido. See therapist. I guess they see a therapist.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess if you like the therapist, then I guess follow through, right? Otherwise,
Yeah.
change.
Yeah, yeah. Look out for therapy that involves your mind and your body. So, like a talk therapy that has some kind of somatic component, just because it's sexual trauma. So, like talk therapy alone might be very helpful, but might not take you all of the way there.
Yeah. I love BDSM. The thought of it is already a huge turn on. Can it be related to my sexual abuse at a very young age?
I think yes. I don't know if that's a popular opinion, but like I think it can be, and it can also be okay.
It can be, but it doesn't have to be. Both can be true. Like, right? It's not always or never. It's possible, but it's also possible that you developed it later in life. Like you watched 50 Shades of Grey and you're like, this really turns me on. And you had no sexual trauma in the past, right?
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
could be true.
Yeah.
Okay. My wife claims that me looking for a hooking up with guys in yeshiva was an escape from the trauma at home, which now is a fact I'm bi, leaning more towards women. Um, it's possible. What do you think? Guys being active in, sexually active in yeshiva with other guys. Um, he is bi. May, what is the question?
Yeah, I think he's saying like he actually knows how he identifies, right? He's saying I am bi.
Yeah, but was an escape from the trauma at home. Oh, it was an escape from the trauma at home, and that's why he went with other guys. Is that what he's saying? I'm not sure if that's the question. But this is another whole topic on its own. If you're in yeshiva with other guys, you your identity kind of forms, your sexual identity forms with others because you have no access to explore otherwise. So you only have that. Sometimes it just stays with you, and sometimes once you get married, it just goes away.
Yeah, it is. I know it's complicated when you're in a system where you're in gender ed schools, like, and then it's like, okay, we don't know if it's circumstantial that your like hormones are raging as a teenager. The only thing you have access to is, and I've actually worked with people for whom it's been both. Like some people, because I work with so many people who ask these questions, right? And some people are like, I did hook up with girls in high school, like girls who hooked up with girls in high school. And then I got to meet boys, and I'm like, oh, I'm actually much more into this.
Hmm.
And then there are people who are like, I hooked up with girls in high school, and like, I can't stop thinking about it and think that that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. I'm like,
And and then there are those who hooked up with girls. I'm like, no, this is not for me. Like I hate it. It doesn't feel right. It's just they don't like it. And then they see guys and they're like, yeah, that's where my heart is at. That's what I'm attracted to. So there can be,
yeah. Whoever said someone just wrote yeshiva is like a prison. I literally think I was just thinking that. It's like you could be prison gay.
mm,
People, prisons are like segregated like yeshivas. So like people have whole relationships that are like gay, same-sex relationships, but they're straight on the outside.
mm, yeah.
But we probably shouldn't publicly, like on record, compare yeshiva to prison. So,
In many ways, it is like that in many ways, though,
yeah.
more than the sexuality, right? Um, okay. So there are general miscellaneous questions. What is the best thing to do for a woman with ADHD and sensory issues? She's always overtouched. Like I guess she can't stand touch. Touch is something.
Yeah, I was thinking like there's a book called Married to Distraction, which is about being married to a person with ADHD, and it has a lot of good information about the like struggle someone might face when they have ADHD. If someone's feeling overtouched, I also want you to think about what are the other sensory experiences they're having throughout the day before you try to touch them. How much sound, light, and touch are they already exposed to? Like I know when I get off the train, I'm like, I actually don't want to look at anyone. I want to walk down a quiet block because I have just touched so many people I didn't want to touch. And the same could be for a woman with children. She's already having so much contact that she has to have throughout the day. And so I think opening the dialogue of like, what is your sensory experience through the day? And on the days we want to have physical touch as a couple, how do we lighten your sensory load? Do you
Hmm.
need to maybe be in a dark room for part of the day with low music on? Do you need a certain candle for part of the day? Like so you can be more sensorily available, you know? Did you have any thoughts? Because I know you work a lot with the physical body and intimacy, so I'm sure like you have some things you do for this too.
So I have a lot of women mostly who complain that they feel ticklish. Um,
Mm.
for the most part, they're not really turned on. Like when you're not turned, like if you can remember a time when you're not really turned on and you're touched, it's like annoying. It can be tickling. But when you are really turned on and you're in it and you want to be intimate and you're on fire, then all those tickles become feel good. Like it's
Yeah.
not ticklish anymore. So sometimes you need to have more time for foreplay to enjoy the actual touch. Otherwise, it can feel irritating and annoying and ticklish,
That is such a good point. You're so right.
especially in sensitive areas. It's like, oh, leave me alone, and then they'll think like, wait, is something wrong with me? Do I have sensory issues? Sometimes the answer is no. You have to start out slowly. Like don't just pinch the nipple. Don't start pinching or playing with the nipple right away. Just gotta build up to it slowly. Start on clothing, touch, um, not from, don't go from 0 to 100. Start out very, very, very slowly. Turn their body on. Sometimes it can take half hour, and that's okay. It's normal. It's fine. And then it won't be tickling. It won't be ticklish or annoying. It will feel good.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Is this the last question? How to deal with limerence? Where
That's a
did that
good
come
one.
from? Limerence, yeah. First, what is limerence?
So
I mean, I know
limerence,
what it is, but maybe,
yeah,
um,
yeah, it's like it's actually something I had to Google the first time I was asked to treat it. I had to Google it because I had never heard of it, and then I had to do some research. So it's like this, the way I would describe it is like this feeling of being enthralled with another person, like feeling like you're obsessed with them. You have to think about them all the time. You love them. You can't like get your, it's like a drug. And when you think about them, you get this dopamine rush and it feels really good. Um, but on some level, it's not totally based in reality. How would you describe it?
like I see it as an obsession. Like you can
Yeah.
only see you're consumed by them every single second, like often, and you don't see, you can do certain stupid things, silly things that you wouldn't normally do. You don't think about, it's something that, um, you don't put a lot of thought into it before you act. You act first, and that can get you into a lot of trouble. Um, it's usually works one-sided, like one person feels that limerence over the other, and it's usually not returned. It usually doesn't work both ways. Like if I feel that with you, you wouldn't feel that with me, usually, right?
Mhm.
That's what I think. It's like a
Yeah.
one-way thing.
Sometimes I feel like it serves a need for a person, like that they're not recognizing at the time. Like if they're in a really toxic relationship and they begin to feel limerence for a character on TV or for another person outside of the relationship, it like serves as an escape.
Mhm.
There's usually a function, I think. Like it's like what is, if we look a little deeper, what's going on in your life aside from this that might be leading you to like over focus on this.
Mm. Yeah, it's an obsession. Somebody's asking, can memories of an ex become limerence, or is it just grief?
I don't know if it can become limerence because I don't think limerence is really, I can't really answer that because I don't think limerence is a clinical term, but I can say this. Memories of an ex, when you think about an ex, it can release oxytocin in your body, which is the bonding hormone, and also some dopamine. So if you're thinking and thinking about it and you're feeling more connected to them and a little pleasure rush in your body, that's a very real thing that can happen. I usually recommend like you keep a list of things in your phone that to remind yourself of like why you're not with them anymore. And also like any bad memories or like bad things that might have happened to fight the like hormone drugs in your body.
How do you feel? This is a question like out of the blue. I was just thinking about. We didn't discuss. How do you feel about adult crushes? Like people are in a relationship and they have a crush. What is your meaning of what do you when I hear like crush, it reminds me of teenagers. Like what how do adults have crushes? What does that mean? having a
Yeah.
crush when you're in a relationship and you're a full-grown adult. I get
Uh,
this often. Like I have a crush on this, I have a crush on that. I'm like, how old are you? And so I'm asking you what you think about it.
I think that probably like I would imagine like for people who are raised in more sheltered environments, they might use the word more as adults just because they haven't yet learned other words for a similar kind of feeling.
Hmm.
But I think everyone has it. Like this thing when you meet someone or you think about someone, you're like, oh, I'm getting like a thrill of some kind. Like I feel connected, like I want to get to know them more. I feel attracted, like some kind of buzz.
Hmm.
And by the time, like, if you've been raised in a co-ed environment where you've been able to explore your sexuality, by the time you're like 25, you're like, oh, yeah, I know what that feeling is. And you're more able to make decisions about how to react to it.
Hmm.
I think teenagers
So,
most often use crush because they haven't yet figured out how to like react to the emotion.
so I guess it's like a deep attraction to someone or a romantic attraction.
I think it depends on your own sexuality type. Like, people who are sapiosexual, attracted to intelligence, their crush might be on someone who wrote an amazing article or
Mm.
book. They might be like, I am so attracted to the mind that wrote that book. Someone who's demisexual is like more like, I mean, attracted to like the emotional connection might be like, I love the way that person makes me feel. I have
Mm.
a crush on them because of that. Or like people are more physical might be like, they have the most gorgeous eyes, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a good way for people who ask, like, how do I figure out if I'm asexual? Like, figure out what your crushes were, if you've ever had a crush, and what it was about, because that
Hmm.
can inform you as to your sexual attraction style. I'm just making this up as I go along. What do you
No,
think?
okay, yeah. It makes sense. I'm not sure. Like to me, a crush, like the word crush is just a teenage thing. However, I understand that people can be attracted to other people, to other, you know, to other people. And I guess it's like a certain attraction you have towards someone, which they call a crush. Um, they are enamored. They feel a certain way with the other person, like butterflies, or
Yeah.
like they can fantasize about them. I guess that's what I think. So the questions are done. Is there anything you feel like you want to add or discuss or something?
Well, we can give people a couple of minutes to throw things in. If you have anything that we didn't answer, this is a time to throw it in. In the meantime, I'll just let you know um, if you need any support for trauma or therapy. I work at Soul Wellness NYC. You can always get a free consult on our website at soulwellnessnyc.com. You can just book a free consult. And I promise you, we don't want to set you up with someone that doesn't meet your needs. So if we don't have someone available for exactly what you need, we'll just tell you and we'll send you to someone else we trust outside of our practice. So if you're like, I need a from therapist and we don't have any available, we still will give you a free consult and still make sure you get a referral. We just want people to get help, really. Um, and Aviva, who was on here earlier, is starting a group for women who are identifying as possibly queer or questioning in the frum community. So if you're closeted, you don't feel like you have anywhere to talk about it, you're welcome to follow the signal. I'll post it to my page tonight so you can see what it is if you haven't seen it yet. And this is a support space for you. That's it. Buy my book, Kissing Girls on Shabbat. I think it's a good book.
It is. It is. I
Okay.
can confirm that. Yeah, it puts you in a different space. Um, oh, I wish I joined.
Okay, someone
Where are
wants to know
you?
where you practice because I'm in New
So,
York.
so I don't call my practice a practice since I'm not a licensed therapist. I don't do mental health at all. I coach, and I do this in my office in Bergen County, New Jersey, in North New Jersey, or Ramsey, New Jersey to be exact.
Hmm.
I also offer Zoom sessions, phone sessions. I have texting sessions. Did you know that? I have texting sessions with people who don't even want me to hear their voice because it's super um, anonymous. They don't want to be. They're afraid. I don't know. maybe I've had sessions with family members. I have no idea. People who don't want me to hear their voice even. So we have I've done that as well. If you feel like you want some real privacy, we can do that too.
That's amazing. Because, I'm sure you and I, we both have followers who don't have faces, don't have names.
Mm,
And I feel like that was me. Like that would have been me 10 years ago, And so I'm so glad that they can find you and have a texting session. Like what you're doing, just extending that hand to people. It just shows like it's just such sensitivity, to what they're going through. I'm so glad that you do that.
mm.
Someone asked about uh navigating sexuality and exploration while married, you know, which I understand, and it is a really difficult thing to explore. Um, I'm going to refer you also to Aviva's group because we don't really have easy answers to any of these. And earlier, someone said, like, is every answer a maybe? And I understand the frustration of that. It's so hard to live with uncertainty and to not have us say, yes, this means this and this means that, and you should do this, especially if you're raised in a culture where there are more answers, where you're used to having a right and a wrong. And then you're like, I'm trying to talk about these hard new things and there's no right or wrong. Like, screw you. You're coming on here and you're what?
Mhm.
You're telling me everything's a maybe?
Yeah,
So I have
yeah.
compassion for it and I get it. And, let's try to make it okay to be in the
People love
space of, yeah. What were you saying?
Right, people love to no, people love to put things in boxes, like this belongs here and this belongs here. It just makes more sense. It feels good to know, okay, this is in a certain box. People like to put themselves in a certain box. I am this, and I am left, or I am right, or I am like politically or sexually, like I am definitely straight, Republican. Like doesn't really work like that. Doesn't really work like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone asked real fast, like if I see people or if we see people who are um, gay in straight marriages, how often do they get divorced? We see that is a population we see at our practice now all the time, and it doesn't always end in divorce. I'm going to tell you that at all. We Our goal is to have the best possible outcome for every single person involved in the situation. And anytime you go to therapy for this, that should be your therapist's only goal to help you like find peace within yourself, to talk with your partner, to have the best possible outcome for everyone in the situation. Then someone asked if being gay is from trauma. That's not what the research shows. I know it's a common thing people want to think because then you think, oh, there's an answer. I can get trauma therapy and I won't be gay anymore. But that's just not something that's backed up by research. Some people who are gay or identify as queer have had trauma, some people don't. Similar rates to the general population, so we can't find a strong correlation. Um, I think we got to most of it.
Yeah. So I have a question for you, Sarah.
Mhm. Sure.
How How comfortable are you with Yiddish speaking and understanding? If
Yes,
I want to send someone to you,
yeah.
because I send people to therapists all the time. Like I send clients to therapy all the time. Um, and I'm just curious if I send someone and they're more comfortable speaking Yiddish, are you comfortable with that? Like,
So, ich ken net in Jiddisch, also wie ein Mensch, was ist a Kind, a Sexual.
a kid.
That's like classic. A bisschen Yiddish, ich can verstehen Yiddish. A bisschen nicht, I'm not, that's my Yiddish. So I can definitely
Got it.
understand, but I do have a referral network of safe. I actually am part of a group of like safe therapists who are trauma therapists, some of whom are queer allied therapists who are Orthodox and
Mm,
of whom speak Yiddish. So
mm.
always feel free to like anyone, like just call us, message us. We want you to get help. We're not just here to like for profit at all. We're really here because I have been where you are, especially if you're a Yiddish speaker, if you're traumatized, if you're queer, and we want you to get help. The mental health system in America is a mess And when you're from a community that not many people understand, it's really hard. So
Yes.
just, yeah, send them. I'll get them to someone who speaks Yiddish at the level they need.
Sure. Okay. One last thing. Do you want to talk about the space that you created? That I read somewhere you created a space for women, or
Yeah.
for both, for men and women, about like where they can come and express themselves there.
Hmm.
Would you, do you
Absolutely.
want
Yeah,
to?
so
Okay.
that's Aviva's group. Aviva's starting the Signal on, I think it's next Monday, is her inaugural group. It's going to be extremely confidential and safe, where you can come, like, even if you're closeted, even if you've never told anyone, like, that you think you might be queer, you can go there and you will be safe and protected there. And it's private, it's like a private space. We're not affiliated with like Footsteps or like Eshel, or, we're a private practice. So you can come in and just your information goes nowhere. It literally just goes to Aviva and me. Um, and if you want a space like that for men, let me know. I'm open to starting one.
It's for women only, I guess, right?
This is for women only.
Okay. I know a lot of guys who would love something like that for men, who feel queer, and they feel, yeah.
I would, you know what, maybe I'll just start like a link for people. If you're interested, DM me. Let's just do that. And
Mhm.
I really would love to work with men and to give them a safe space too. So we'll keep expanding the groups as we see a need.
Sure. Okay. Is that for non-religious people too?
This one is for people who are living lives that are adjacent to the religious Orthodox Jewish community. So if you're like on your way out or in your heart you're not religious, but you feel connect like you've been raised in the community, that's completely fine.
Okay. I think we're done.
I think we got it. I mean, thank you for lending us this space, like just to be here for people. And I'm excited to see what happens when we put this up.
Thank you. Thanks to you, Sarah. I appreciate you. And I guess we'll keep in touch. And thanks to
Thank
everyone for being here. All right.
Great
Bye
night.
now.
Be
Good
safe.
night.
Bye.
Thanks.